What's up, Internet? We are here, coming back from a 2-month hiatus on my Pokemon adventure. I initially planned that to be 2 weeks, but, well, when I got a copy of Pokemon Crystal, the save did not work. Like, it was just completely botched. This one does seem to actually work. As you can tell, there's continue. There's nothing on that continue, however, because they just changed the battery out and just wanted to make sure the save file worked, you know, as you do. And, well, we're playing this on the Retro Freak, so it's going to look a lot nicer, but because the Retro Freak works by essentially copying the ROM off the cart as opposed to simply playing with it on there, there is a bit of a problem with saving and keeping up to date with the calendar, which is what Gen 2 Pokemon was sort of touting as its biggest new special feature. Now, fortunately, I should be able to copy the save back to the cartridge after each session, so we should be able to keep the integrity of the clock within a difference of a few minutes, hopefully. But more importantly, I aim to sort of show off some events in this game as we go from the calendar and stuff. But because I normally record these around the same time every day, which is like 4 a.m. or whatever, in order to do that, I'm going to have to record at some weird points. And because I live in a house full of a lot of really loud people, that might mean that the audio quality takes a bit of a nosedive. And I apologize for that in advance, but that's just sort of something we're going to have to deal with. In other news, I have some terrible, terrible news. For you see, even though we proved that we were emphatically the very best, like no one ever was, we were in fact defeated by an opponent we could not have planned for. For you see, we were defeated by ourselves from the future. Actually, no, it was ourselves from an alternate dimension. I had this planned out in my head, but we had basically gotten erased from the timeline by an alternate dimension version of ourselves. It is currently 4:19. Yes. And, well, basically, they were too lazy to actually prove they were the very best, so what they did was erase our consciousness from the quantum timeline and replace theirs with ours. So basically, they took all our glory and our body. Now, thankfully, another alternate dimension version of ourselves saved us and put us in the brain of some other kid. So, they're probably dead, but bright side, we are alive, and more importantly, this is our grim, edgy, dark revenge story. We have to go punch our alternate dimension selves in the face for being an asshole, as some other guy he won't recognize. Now, unfortunately, the same thing happened to Phaphimon, and again, fortunately, thanks to another alternate dimension version of him, he is also safe somewhere in the world of Pokemon, thankfully. But he has been replaced by some asshole named Blue. So we're out to go kill Red and Blue at the end of this. And unfortunately, thanks to Red being a colossal dick, our team is also scared to the Quantum Winds, and I'm not sure they were saved. Maybe they were reincarnated. Who knows? We'll find out as I come up with this story as we play. But here we are in Pokemon Crystal, a game I've never actually played. I had Silver back in the day. And, well, I'm not entirely sure what the differences are. I think this is a combination of Gold and Silver, like all the best parts anyway. So that's nice. I'm going to pretend I understand how the language works in this game. But, yeah, here we are in a new world of Pokemon. And in order to be very, very respectful to the memory of my lost team, I refused to use any monster that had existed in Kanto. And saying that out loud, I automatically, like, completely regret that, because if I recall from this series... Oh, we do not get a starter potion. Great. If I recall, all the really fun new monsters that were introduced in this generation... Hell, most of the monsters introduced in this generation don't actually show up till, like, 60% the way through the game. So, this is going to be interesting. But, I have not played Gen 2 Pokemon in probably, oh gosh, probably about 15 years, when I last played Pokemon Silver. And I lost my copy while my grandparents were on vacation in Italy. And when they came back, they had found one in a bus seat that had ironically the exact same character data that my English copy had when I lost it. So that's weird, but that's a thing that happened. Yes, it is Thursday. I have no idea. I'm going to say no. PM. Oh well, I can change it later. It's actually AM right now. Yes, I know how to use the phone. I will fix this in post, maybe. Yes. People will call me, they'll tell me when their Rattatas in the top 1% of Rattatas. Who cares? Now, because we have taken the body of this other person, we have to pretend like we're them. Now, fortunately, that only really applies to the first town. And this kid was apparently doing a favor for this guy, so we just have to play along a little bit. Now, the thing about this is while we're helping him, he's going to provide us with a Pokemon, thus starting us off on our road to revenge. Which is good, because that's exactly what we aim to do. Also, 2 Pokeballs just disappeared under that text box. I don't care about your findings. I want to punch alternate dimension me in this stupid smug face. Email, because that was a thing that existed at the time. I think before this it was just mail. Although, to be fair, mail still existed in, I think, this Pokemon in the next generation, because you could trade and collect mail for some reason. Which was just kind of pointless, but it was a thing you could do, so why not do it? Pokemon research. I don't care about research, I want revenge. But yeah, now we get to select a monster. Little does he know this monster will help us do great things. Like prove we're the very best. And also shove a guy off a mountain later. Now, we can start with either a vegetable, which, having started with Chikorita the very first time I played this game, don't ever do that, that's the worst idea ever. Seriously, when you get to the Steel Gym, you will kick yourself for that. A little teeny tiny crocodile. Now, there's merit in selecting him. What else do we got? Basically a cross between a flamethrower and a porcupine. And like Gen 1 and Gen 3 after this, you always start with the fire type. So yes, we'll take Cyndaquil, because Cyndaquil is the best. Well, it's no Charmander, but, you know. In fact, this Cyndaquil kind of reminds me of our old friend Flammy a little bit, back when we first got him. And in honor of naming Flammy after the awesome dragon, we need to name our other fire type after an awesome dragon, so even though the gender's going to be a little bit messed up, who cares? We will name you Cinder. Awesome. So yay for the second best fire starter ever. I don't care about your phone number. Actually, I do think he does call you at times, so we actually do have to have it. I should heal it with the machine, but I don't need to. Go away. Hooray! That's the potion I needed. I used to be able to get that from my computer. And just so I don't forget now, I'm going to go check the clock and see if I can change it, just because I am ridiculously neurotic about stuff like that. If I don't get it, that's going to bug me forever. Okay, clocks. Is there a clock feature? It's a town map. I don't need the town map. Is there a clock? I thought there was a clock on the wall somewhere. Picture books. TV. Is there a clock function on here? We'll just pretend we're in Australia and it's like 12 hours difference or something. Whatever. Actually, this works better because it would be nighttime every single time we play. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to be bothered by this. Anyway, we're off on an adventure. Also, I'm pretty sure in Gold and Silver that little title didn't pop up. Now, let's see what we run into. This thing. This is this generation of Rattata, except it still has Rattata. Oh, also, that's another thing in this game. Monsters have animation. Feature that was then removed next generation and not brought back until, I want to say, Generation 6, because Pokemon's really weird about doing that. Like, they'll add new features every generation, and the next generation they just get rid of all of them. If I became a gym leader, which type would I pick? See, I'd have trouble picking a single type. I mean, my go-to is always Charizard. That's just my favorite. But I really do dig psychic types. I have quite a love for Gardevoir and Gallade. I quite like steel types, although they're constantly being retweaked, and they really cocked up Mawile when they made it part fairy type. Ugh. Mawile I love quite dearly. I guess I would either go fire or psychic. Dark would be fun, but Dark is a really awkward type to work with as well. Like, I think I mentioned it in my review of Pokemon Gen 1, where, like, every time they add new monsters, while it fixes the problem I had with the first game, they have to add new types, and then they have to rework those types, and that's just... it's awkward to try and keep up. And I mean, I was in the demographic when this game came out, and the previous game, so I should be on top of this stuff, but I'm just not. Now, if I recall, there's a route up there that would lead you to where all the awesome monsters are, but we can't get there until after we finish 8 gyms. Not bitter about that at all. Oh, hey, it's this guy. I don't like you very much. You're everywhere, and while you can set up to do some very dirty things with a Rattata, I just don't care about Rattata. See, that's the thing. Even giving me access to dual types, I don't know. I guess I'd go either fire or psychic. But the thing is, that's the problem with all the gym leaders. They always stick to one element, and that makes them incredibly predictable. And I just don't do that. Hey, Smokescreen. That's an ability that I don't recall using very much. Oh, berries. Because this game introduced trees that you could steal stuff from. And then you could put them on your monsters because item carrying was introduced. That's right. I'm starting to catch up. This is already way better than Pokemon Red. Alright. And then that berry will kick in when our Cyndaquil is in trouble, thus healing it a small portion. We could talk to this guy, he'd give us a tour, and I think an item I cannot be bothered. I think there is someone here that'll give us a thing, though. Or, maybe not. Maybe he shows up later. I think you get a King's Rock from talking to someone around here, but not yet. This game actually had some weird versions of it. Like, there was a Famicom Chinese port of this, and I've played it very briefly. It's a weird thing. Like, everything kills instantly, which is weird, but... I don't know. Oh, I'm sure there are gym leaders that use dual types, but they always leave themselves open to usually a single strategy, with like that one dual type being the thing that gets around it, but still just makes it too predictable. Also, never got a chance to use Scizor. I've always wanted to, but that's a thing you have to trade for, and I've never been able to do that. Being lonely sucks like that. Antidote. Not sure how useful that'll be, but the nice thing is, if I recall, this game, let's just check. Ah, yeah. We've got a pack with multiple pockets, as opposed to just having to carry like 10 items. Most of which would end up getting eaten by plot items you could not get rid of. Oh, this game is so much better. So many quality of life improvements. I just wish, like, most of the really cool, unique monsters introduced to this game didn't show up at the 80% mark. Like, I like Houndour, I like Houndoom, I can't get them until after I've beaten the game, basically. I like Skarmory, oh, I can't, you know, get it till 80% the way through the first half of the game. Awesome. Disconnected. And I think we are back because shitty internet connection is shitty. I'm gonna have to actually edit these now. Just to get all the cuts out. Oh, that's gonna suck. That was one of the things I really liked about doing this, is I didn't have to edit anything. I really need to get a better ISP. Or something. But, I think there's another berry tree around here. Yes, there is! And a cut tree. It's a poison cure berry, although that's a very truncated word. That's also still a very long word. Okay. Now, if you were playing one of those weird knockoff Famicom ports that are in Chinese, there'd be 3 guys here and they'd all look like Professor Oak. Maybe when we're done, I'll show that off briefly, but that's for all the way at the end of this playthrough. Now, Mystery Egg would be what eventually ends up becoming Togepi, if I recall. I've never actually bothered with Togepi. It seemed like such a dumb monster, and it's one of those monsters that has to be evolved through, like, love, and those just take forever. Like, I think I might try and get one of the new Eevee evolutions, and just use that as my excuse to, you know, get another monster. But, again, those require those, like, affection boosts as well. That's gonna be something I have to do off-screen, I think. And I think Pokemon Crystal featured another egg you could get for free when you first go to the daycare, which was a new feature introduced in this series around this time. So I might try and get that to hatch as well off screen, just to give us another monster, because like last time, I don't really have a plan other than I'm not going to use any Kanto monsters. Just for respect for my Lost Fallen team. That horrible asshole Red erased from the timeline, or however that works. But, hopefully, we'll be able to, disconnect! Oh, dear lord. Terrible ISP, ain't it a thing? Anyway, yeah, so we got a Pokedex, don't care. Not really planning on using it or trying to max it out. I'm basically just here to catch things that interest me, but, yeah, don't really have much of a plan for what I intend to catch for my team, other than I just don't want to use Kanto monsters. For respect for the team that, Red had erased. Oh, something happened. I guess we're heading home. Just so as we don't blow our cover. As someone who quantum leapt into this guy's body is now taking it for a joyride. I think that's how Quantum Leap worked. Come on, Sin. We got this. We can't be stopped by a little Pidgey, even though a little Pidgey was one of the monsters that got us to the top in the first place. I will not lose to you, Pidgey, even though I quite love you. For you are in the way. And I must remove all obstacles because, as Shampoo once said, obstacles are for killing. A bug. Could you be any more useless after level 10? I don't think so. That said, you were like the one thing that Psychic was weak to originally, which instills me with a lot of anger. Because, of course, who's going to use bug types up to Sabrina? Seriously, who did that? All I needed was good old Static Cling. And maybe Flammy. I think I might have had Lagiacrus at the time. Oh, my old team was so good. But that's living in the past. We must live in the now. And by that, I mean train one monster, because I'm not sure when the first interesting Johto monster is going to show up. Now, it's important we go to the Pokemon Center here. I remember this. Yes, let us heal our Pokemon. Alrighty. Out of the way, old man. Hey! It's a guy who's in our way. And he's kind of an asshole. In fact, he reminds me of someone. Someone we've met before. And he just looks so smug. And he even selected the monster that's automatically better than ours in terms of typing. I know this guy. Alright. Well, guy, I'm about to punch you in your stupid little tiny crocodile's face for being stupid. But that said, we're going to get some decent experience from it, so that's nice, because we have got to really pump Cinder up if we are to truly become, once again, the very best, like no one ever was. And down you go. Level up. Alright, we defeated Triple Question Mark Man, which was a type in Pokemon Ruby, although it was Ghost type, kind of. Your name is not a name. How do you pronounce that exactly? That was mean. Could have shoved the old man out of the way, not me. I just proved I'm better than you, asshole. Alright. Also, I really like this song. It's just nice and upbeat. Really contrasts the bloodthirsty nature of our adventure. Because we're out for blood. We don't care who gets in our way. Hey! I don't remember this one being here in Pokemon Silver. Maybe it's changed to Crystal. I don't think I ever leveled up a Hoppip to max either. I know it becomes a Jumpluff at some point, but I think that was an Affection evolution or a trade. So it was one of those evolutions I never managed to actually get. But, we're back at the lab. Awesome. Hey, it's a courier. Although it might be a police officer who looks like a courier, I don't know. Yes, I did battle that asshole. Yeah, you know, he kind of reminded me of someone. He reminded me of Phaphimon. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's where he ended up after being erased from the timeline. Favorite Pokemon moment from the anime? Honestly, I remember reading the comics more than I actually read or watched the TV show. I remember Ash basically would end up shitting the bed at every massive challenge he would be presented with. He lost at like every giant be-all, end-all championship moment. I remember the SS Anne sinking and the Magikarp getting like angry and becoming a Gyarados later. I remember that weird island arc after the first season. I remember... I think my favorite thing was very early on, like, up until they got to, like, Pewter and they gave Pikachu, like, Jesus powers for being able to beat rock types somehow. I really liked how that game was... Or that show existed to teach you how the game worked. Like, it taught you how typing worked, it taught you, you know, where you can find monsters, how to catch them, that sort of thing. It was very true to the game early on. And I think there are over like 1,000 episodes now. I don't even think I watched the first half of Johto. I just stopped caring. But the manga is legit. Like, you should definitely go read it if you haven't. I know it gets a little spotty during the Johto arc because it ends up like using some weird translations and the scans are a little bit weird, but the actual Pokemon Adventure manga is really, really good up until about Generation 4, which is, you know, when the series stopped being good anyway, so. But it's a good series. It had some really legitimately dark moments, too. And one more level for Sin. Alright. Oh, we should probably see if we can buy some Pokeballs. I should be able to actually try and catch something once something actually catches my interest. Alright, Cherry Grove. That's the Pokemon Center, but we can try and heal up while we're here. Yes, please do. Alrighty. But I don't know how we're going to even try and compare to the old team. The old team was just so good. Ugh. No Pokeballs here. Disappointment. I guess we're stuck with just our team up till the next town. On the bright side, I'm pretty sure this is where we first run into trainers. So that's a thing we can go deal with. Alright, tackle. Because no other ability is usable right now. And that's the only reason you should ever use tackle. It is like the crappiest attack ever. No, wait. Bide is worse than tackle. Like, at least stuff like Splash, you can at least use it as like a taunt, but Bide is basically worthless. Like, even tackle can be used as a taunt to a degree, but I mean, you can make fun of Quick Attack for doing like 20 damage, but Quick Attack is like legitimately useful. I mean, how many times did it save my ass during our last playthrough? So many times. But, you know, I think we've got a pretty good start so far. I mean, it doesn't quite compare to our last adventure. I mean, by this point we had 3 monsters, but, you know, I haven't seen anything interesting. And thus far, that's the important thing for building a good team. You have to pick the guys you like. I don't care about your team. I don't want to leave you alone. Okay, we'll go back to Mr. Pokemon's house, because I'm not reading the plot. I probably should. But, screw it. I need to get levels. For revenge purposes, obviously. Talk. Okay, you're depending on me. New plan. Telephone. Let's call Professor Elm and see what he wants. Alright, so Professor What's-His-Name was absolutely no help. I guess go back to town, talk to people or something. I forget where I need to go. I mean, I thought I was supposed to just go to the next town, but that does not appear to be the case. Oh well. More experience! I can overlevel. I can be just like Fafimon now. Be a bad trainer who needs to have extra levels. But also I don't have any more monsters, so I mean, I guess I don't have a choice. This is gonna be like the first time I ever played Pokemon where halfway through the game I get to level 100 with my Charizard because it's the only monster I used. That's an interesting way to play Pokemon. Just one monster capped out like halfway through the game. Very little will actually ever be a problem, but you have to like manage your abilities really well. There was a house around here. Let's go in there. Maybe they'll tell me something useful, but probably not. And also Caterpies. Because Caterpies are square. And Catercakes are round. and Catter cookies are flat. And that's a math lesson for you. Brought to you by Caterpiece. Now, unlike the previous game, I don't think there's actually like an optional encounter with your rival. Yes, I know, berries, they're useful. Awesome. Okay. And I mean, I guess we're, hold on. Does it count, or is it just an item? Yeah, it's just an item. I was gonna say, if we've got the egg, we can just add steps, which will, make it hatch sooner, but, I guess not. Oh well. Back to Town 1. Just for lack of understanding where I need to go, because I'm not reading text boxes like I should be. I know there's someone around here, and I think it's a day-specific thing, but if you hang around here, there's like a character that spawns that gives you a thing that you can equip to your monster, and they'll do more damage with it. So it's a good item to have. And that's one of those date-specific things, because characters show up on various calendar days. And that was a big thing for this, is, you know, you got a clock that's actually, you know, ticking as time goes on, and it actually has a calendar. Granted, it's only a 7-day calendar, but still pretty cool. That said, this was not the first game to feature that. I know Tengai Makyo Zero on the Super Famicom came out about 3 years before this, and that had a year-round calendar and had special dates and stuff on it too, which is really cool. That was a really, really advanced game for its time in a lot of respects. It's kind of weird we never got any of the Tengai Makyo games. But I guess they were pretty Japanese, and they were text-heavy, so translating them would be a pain in the ass. I know Zero did get a fan translation, but it's a UPS code, so you can't apply it to things on the Retro Freak, which sucks, because I've had that game forever. Playing in English would be nice. Okay, so let's talk to this guy again, maybe? I know it's terrible. I was here a minute ago. Why did that not happen sooner? I mean, I was talking to a police officer to this guy. I would think it would all be part of the same event. That's kind of weird. It's the second Pokedex he's given me, actually. You don't know that, though. And he didn't recognize me. But, to be fair, no one would believe my story if I told them, except maybe Rick Sanchez. The important thing is, I'm quantum leapt into this person, and I'm out for revenge now. Okay, I'll just keep moving forward then. Hey, Pokeballs! I know what they do, I've used them before. Oh, you don't know that though, because I've clearly never used them before, right? Adventure! Stop stopping me. No. This game came out around the time that people were making up a bunch of, like, dumb, cheats and stuff for games. I remember this game was pretty famous for it. Like, you could get a move that was stronger than Hyper Beam, and it was called Rainbow Hyper Beam, and to get it, you had to get a secret TM that was only available if you used a special other move called Lava Surf to surf over a pool of lava to find a rock in a, I think, Elite Four room. And there was, like, you could get, like, weird fusions of Blastoise and Venusaur called Venustoise and stuff like that. Like, I really love those dumb, really fake cheats from back in the day. And, like, all of them were just blatantly, obviously fake, but something about that I just loved, and all of that's kind of gone now. And it's weird that there's, like, no giant sort of web archive of all the fake game hints that have existed over the ages. Like, I imagine there's probably, like, a Pokemon-specific one for stuff like that, maybe, but for, like, getting the Final Fantasy VI cast in Chrono Trigger and vice versa and stuff, there used to be cheats like that all over the place, and now they're just they're not there anymore, and it's weird to me to think that something like that that just sort of happened en masse just doesn't happen anymore. I should once again visit the Pokemon Center, because it's good practice to just heal up at every chance you can. Because Pokemon Center. Hooray! Alrighty, so we have to go to the next town, I guess, because we've given no other completely pointless task to carry out, which is good. It means there's less stuff in the way of our adventure and quest for revenge, except an endless stream of Pidgeys. I'm one of the few people who actually respects Pidgeys, but get out of the way, Pidgey. Pidgey, the completely underutilized bird Pokemon that is actually way more awesome than anyone gives it credit for. Alrighty. And this is the first trainer of the game. And you just lost. You're gonna lose again, I fear. Friendo. Alright, Joey. With your stupid Rattata. That's probably not even in the 1% of Rattatas. I'm just gonna tackle you a bunch of times. I don't think there's gonna be much of a problem. Well, that was a waste of time. Let us continue, Cinder. For there's going to be many more people we need to punch in their stupid faces in order to continue on our quest. Like this guy. I'm guessing you won, because that other guy lost. Do you also have a Rattata? Or something stupid? Mikey? Alright, you've got a Pidgey. I can respect that, because Pidgeys are way more awesome than anyone ever gives credit. But you're still level 2 and I'm level 10, so I'm not really scared. Next is a Rattata. Again, probably not even in the 1% of Rattatas. And trust me, I've gotten plenty of phone calls about the 1% of Rattatas. Seriously, the phone feature in here, underutilized and also under good. There's only 4 people you should ever get the phone numbers of, and that is just because they tell you when rare monsters show up. Alright. That's another very small obstacle on our way to becoming the very best, like no one ever was. Except us. Previously, obviously. Bugs. You know, it occurs to me, I don't think there was, like, a proper... No, there was. I was about to say something very stupid, like there wasn't a proper forest level in this game like the previous one, but there was. There's that forest where you had to chase the Farfetch'd around. And if you had access to, I want to say, a infrared cell phone code thingy, you could somehow get Celebi, maybe, by getting the GS ball from your mom if you fought Professor Elm and then your mom or something. Or that was another really bad cheat. I don't remember. Facts and cheats kind of ended up flowing together by the end of it because there were just so many and they were usually very ludicrous. But still, it was a fun time just to read those really bad cheats. Alright, let's fight you. You small child who's not even taller than the grass. Do you also use Rattatas? No, you probably use bugs because you're a bug catcher. Some things never change. Actually, I don't remember what the sort of variance in this game is for Pokemon lineups. I'm hoping it's better than Gen 1's because Gen 1's was atrocious. Ugh. You run into a bug catcher, all they have is bugs. You run into a bird keeper, all they have is birds. You run into sailors, all they have are tentacles. Got really boring. And I like that game, but man, that game does not hold up. But I can say with full certainty, Pokemon Ruby holds up, which is why I hold it in quite a high regard. And I'm really hoping Gen 2 Pokemon holds up pretty well. I mean, I'm really impressed with just the quality of life changes from the previous iteration. I wish they'd get rid of HMs, though. Like, seriously, just give me items I can use instead of HMs, because they're useless. Uh-oh. I ran away from home. Stop calling me. I'm out for blood. Fine. Save money. Actually, she gets some neat exclusive stuff if she does, but she also spends your money, so... It's kind of a sort of 50-50 sort of thing. But, adventure. Disconnected. Hey, Bellsprout. Alright, a Bellsprout. Not an Oddish, but of the similar vein. Although not as cool as Oddish. I always liked Oddish, but none of its evolutions. But to be fair, I never enjoyed any of Bellsprout's evolutions either, so... You know, it is what it is. And of course, because it is a Kanto monster, out of respect to my departed team, I cannot use him. He's just a thing to kill, to get some experience, to get stronger. Caterpie. Quit being so bug-like, Caterpie. With your string shot and your blank, expressionless face. Alright, level 12. I'm gonna end up, like, evolving by the time I hit the first gym. What's your deal? It's a dark cave. Now, if I recall, this cave actually has the, I think it's either Dunsparce or Wobbuffet you can run into. But Dunsparces are basically useless. Wobbuffets can be okay, but they're very niche, and I don't really want one. I don't think there's anything actually in there of value for us. What's your deal? Okay. Bitter berries. Berries of bitterness. I think that's for paralysis, maybe. Because this was before making Pokeblocks or Poffins or whatever. That said, there are other trees we can get fruit from that are equally useful. But not necessarily for us, because you actually have to wait to actually utilize them, which kind of sucks. Yeah, you're going to regret using bug types right about now. Because Flamethrower. Or Proto-Flamethrower, it's Ember, but similar context, it's a fire move. It's going to completely destroy bugs because it destroys their natural habitat. More embers. Down you go. Next. Another Caterpie. How gauche. I'm not impressed. But you should be impressed with my awesome tactic of using the one thing you're weak to. Because it's quite a good strategy. Okay, Weedle, that's actually a bit more practical because they can poison you. And with my luck, every time I get hit with Poison Sting, I'm gonna get poisoned. So let's get rid of you real quick. I'd like to not have a repeat performance of my entire last Let's Play where every chance I got poisoned. No, thank you. Pokeball. Awesome. I mean, I still don't have a thing to catch with it, but still. Which monster was it? I'm betting it was a Zubat. Because Zubats show up a lot in caves. No, I did not, but maybe I will. Welcome to Violet City, home of the very first Pokemon gym. You can also trade for an Onix here if you have something, I can't remember what, but I also don't really want an Onix. And I can't trade to make it a Steelix, so that's basically worthless to me. But I think we have to go to Sprout Tower as well as go to the Gaim right here. And I think that's a good place to leave off for day one of our next generation Pokemon adventure of revenge. It's a revenger, is what it is. Come back next time when I'll probably go through this Gaim, steal a gym badge, punch a gym leader in his stupid, smelly face, probably climb a tower full of grass monsters to see where we go from there. And reconnecting after disconnecting during the outro. How low can you be? Terrible ISP. Anyway, if you like this, come back next week where we're going to try and tackle this gym. Maybe give the Twitch channel a follow. Maybe subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more content featured by me. And if you want to go the extra mile and help support my work, help me bring you more awesome stuff, maybe hit up the Patreon. Help support the show and get on the fan supporters Discord where we talk about stuff and try and trade some games and do some other fun stuff. I'm trying to set some stuff up. But until next time, I hope you enjoyed, and peace out, Internet.